Aaron Copland, Module Number 3, Appalachian Spring. In this module, I will present research and information regarding the compositional process, ballet storyline, formal structure of the orchestral suite, and use of the traditional shaker melody in Aaron Copland's Appalachian Spring. I will then discuss the extreme success of the ballet and orchestral suite, which led to Aaron Copland receiving the Pulitzer Prize for Music in 1945. Aaron Copland's ballet, Appalachian Spring, premiered on October 30th, 1944, at the Library of Congress in Washington, D.C. The music was so well received that the orchestral suite became one of Copland's most notable compositions. The storyline behind the ballet takes place during the 19th century spring season. A young couple of American pioneers, a bride and groom-to-be, set aside time to ponder and reflect upon their lives before their marriage ceremony, and ultimately beginning their life together in the wilderness. A traveling preacher performs the matrimony ceremony, with an older pioneer woman serving as the witness. Throughout the ballet, it is revealed that the newlyweds will face a life consisting of moments of sweetness between many challenges. With the emotional support for one another, the newlyweds will overcome all obstacles with strength and tenacity. The storyline of this pioneer couple is exemplum of the journey all pioneer Americans took while conquering and exploring the New World. The compositional process. Aaron Copland was commissioned to write the ballet with an explicit American theme in 1942 by choreographer and dancer Martha Graham, with funding by Elizabeth Coolidge. Copland spent much of 1942 and 1943 working on his compositions for the premiere, which, as previously stated, occurred on October 30th, 1944. Copland has claimed that his inspiration for the American theme, or American sound, came from the book The Gift to Be Simple: Songs, Dances, and Rituals of the American Shakers, written by Edward Deming Andrews. The title song, "'Tis the Gift to Be Simple," immediately sparked inspiration in Copland, hence its use and quotation in the ballet. The original music was scored for a 13-member chamber orchestra, which included a double string quartet, a piano, a double bass, flute, clarinet, and bassoon. The ballet was so successful that in 1945, Copland was commissioned by conductor Artur Rudzinski to rearrange the ballet to be produced as an orchestral suite. Copland arranged the orchestral suite as a condensed version of the ballet, omitting 10 minutes from the original version. There have been 4 variations of the original score, which have either expanded and or narrowed the orchestration to meet the needs of different instrumental ensembles. Aaron Copland divided his orchestral suite for Appalachian Spring into 8 movements. Each movement contains a very specific theme that can be heard throughout. Movement 1 is entitled Very Slowly. Movement 2, Allegro. Movement 3, Moderato, which is representing the bride and her intended. Movement 4, which is Fast, which is the revivalist and his flock. Movement 5, Subito Allegro, which is the solo dance of the bride. Movement 6, As at First, Slowly, which is similar to that of the first movement. Movement 7, Dubbio Movimento, which is the variations on a shaker hymn. And movement 8, Moderato Coda. And next to each movement, I have included the snippet of the theme that is used throughout that entire movement. Now we're going to focus on movement 7, Doppio Movimento. Copland incorporated his main motivation for Appalachian Spring in movement 7, Doppio Movimento, which is variations on a shaker hymn, Simple Gifts. As seen in the last slide, the main theme of this movement is an exact quotation of the original melody. Now we're going to take a close listen to this movement from the orchestral suite. This movement utilizes theme and variation, with the original theme beginning at rehearsal 55, with the thematic material introduced lightly in the clarinet, accompanied by a flute descant. At rehearsal 57, listeners can hear variation 1 as the texture becomes richer with the passing of the thematic material to brass instruments. At rehearsal 59, listeners can hear variation 2 with the texture growing, even more with the string section taking over the thematic material in a stately fashion with accompaniment from piano, auxiliary percussion, and flute sections. At rehearsal 62, listeners can hear variation 3 with the thematic material developing and growing in a triumphant fashion within the brass section again. At rehearsal 64, it is as if Copland has returned back to the original theme, with the thematic material returning quietly to the clarinet with accompaniment in the bassoon and flute lines. It is as if he is ending the movement the same way in which it began. Instead, Copland surprises listeners at rehearsal 65 with one final variation, which includes the entire orchestra performing the thematic material together in a grandiose and triumphant fashion before transitioning to the closing section in Movement 8. While both the ballet and orchestral suite were extremely well received by audiences and musicians, the orchestral suite is considered to be more influential in the popularization of Aaron Copland as a composer. In 1945, Aaron Copland was awarded the Pulitzer Prize for Music due to his orchestral suite for Appalachian Spring.